So let's connect today with uh, hands and our ability to write. So we're from that generation where we used to write letters, right? So we used to have a pen, we used to go buy ink. There was a navy blue ink, a bright blue ink, black ink, and red ink. I think there was green as well, right? Teachers used to use the green and the red, and we used to use. So we actually had a process of filling the ink with a nice spout, and inside it used to fall off. We had to ensure it didn't fall on books, it didn't smudge. So this whole writing implement was simplified with the ballpoint pen coming. We didn't have to do it eased off. Basically, it eased off the. But I always loved having an ink pen, and then I realized that even the ink has changed now. It comes very clearly in a little gadget which you just put it into a pen, and still, well, the nib pen, everything else. So a huge shout out to my friend Bharat for supporting me on getting back to writing. So as you put the pen to the paper, this particular action of writing is connecting us to a form of expression which is precious for our generation. Now, a whole generation has grown up with not having this experience of pen, pencil, ballpoint pen, and writing uh, for the joy of writing it. It's not that they cannot write, they all write and so on and so forth, but it's like, oh, it's easier to type. It's easier to just look at a screen and express ourselves, because that is something of a different movement, whereas holding a pen and writing gives you a pace. Now, what's the difference between the two? Now, it could be the pace, the process. It could also be the peace that we find when we write. And apart from the writing and the words and the construction of it, there is also a handwriting that can be done mindfully, right? So it's beautiful when you sit down to write something. So the older people in my house, they spend almost an hour in the morning or evening when they feel very steady to write the name of the Lord into a whole page. There are elders I know who have written thousands of books with the name of the Lord and donated it to foundations of temples and other religious places where it is put. Now, it is a method of chanting, it is a method of connecting to the source. So, when you pick up a pen and start writing, it is a form of expression that needs cultivation, that needs whether anything flows or not. The moment you surrender, you'll find that you'll start writing. So there's another habit that we used to have of doing diary writing, right? So every day, whatever happens, the events, you can write down. And there were these diaries which came with lock and key, so that when you poured your heart out in something, nobody ever saw it, right? So it would be under lock and key. Then you also have things like the implement of writing, the thought process, the flow, the time of the day when this happens. So there's this entire writing community. Now people are trained to write books as well. So there's so many books, there are lesser readers. That's one of the things that I feel personally, that there are just so many authors and so many people who know how to write well and weave beautiful stories. I don't know if there are that many people who actually read the books, correct? And ebooks. So reading and writing are two things that are great, but I'll set aside reading and just talk about writing today. So it's very, very important for us to practice this process. And given the time of transition right now, it would be wonderful if we can all connect and see if we get back to writing. So I have a friend who would make handwritten cards. Shout out to Anu. And they there are people who have continued to do that all along. The other day, we were doing a set of cleaning up, me and my husband, and we found all those old letters that we used to write to each other, and the envelopes that we used to put them in, inland letters that we used to write to each other, the blue one, if you guys remember, and then the postcards if we didn't have too much time and it needed to just be dropped into a post box. So we actually went through that process. The kids of this time don't have that luxury of writing. If we can inculcate some of that form of expression, we could connect with ourselves in a better manner. So, wish you joy in discovering the connection to you, your finger, the pen, and the paper. And may it flow for each and every one of you. Have a great day.